We're very, very, very happy to have our old friend, I think you can say, Ablade Glover, back with his latest exhibition of works. Ablade first Ablade showed at the October Gallery in 1982, when the gallery was, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years old, so the infant gallery. And Ablade, because of his pedigree and age, I think you're about 40, 47, 48 maybe at the time. At that time. So a young man at that time, and he's got younger since. But actually I want to talk to Ablade today actually about not just the intervening years, but about the passage of time in some sense, because I think it's important. But since that time we've done 10 shows of Ablade's work, and I think we see all kinds of changes going on. But I think I'd also say Chile first found Ablade at the Africa Centre, is that right? In 1982. And Ablade had studied just at the end of the street up in London Central School, as it was then. And it's changed, it became St Martin's, and now it's part of the University of the Arts, and it's up in Granary Square and things. So Ablade goes back to another kind of British art school. And again, I'd like to get some of your thoughts about the way the British schools worked and how they've changed as well. There's so many different things I'd like to pursue, but I just want to say, first of all, we're really happy to see this art on the walls once again, Ablade. So welcome back to London.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I want to talk about youth and age. Yeah, just in the broadest possible sense. I spent a lot of time in Japan, and in Japan they have this idea of a living national treasure. And the living national treasure is somebody who has applied himself or herself to a particular art for so long that the knowledge they have just can't be lost, and they need to be teaching it. They need to be transmitting it. They need to be passing it on. And only when you recognise them as a living national treasure do people start to seek them out. And when you get to 85 in the West, you're kind of on the scrap heap these days in some sense. People aren't automatically respectful anymore, they think you're old and past it. But I think that you've been around now for long enough. Please, so I think my first question is, talk to me about how Accra and Ghana have changed over those past, let's say since independence, let's say before independence. What's happened in your world over those 75, 85? Well, it was huge, I know, but
it was a beautiful world, I must say.
It was a beautiful world. Yeah.
I really am lucky. I saw the beginnings of independence.
Yeah, 1957. Yeah.
50. Oh, that was quite later.
Oh, sorry.
I saw the beginnings of
when
fighting and rooting. I must say I participated in the rooting.
Okay, you're way ahead of me. You're way ahead of me. Good.
I was 14. We were in school.
Yes.
One night when the house at Accra was burning.
Yes.
And some hoodlums.
Yes.
Are looting things in Accra.
Yes.
So our school, boarding school, was closed down, and we came to town. But next morning we went to Accra. That was burning, and the looters, the big men, who were in the shops. They broke the shops, and we, the boys, children, we followed them, and we got some few good things.
Television.
That's right. But the looters got what the real thing. Yes, so that's what we got. Later on, the police came after us.
Yes.
The police couldn't handle it. Then they brought in the Nigerian soldiers because the police could communicate with the Ghanaian, So they brought Nigerian soldiers who couldn't understand any word.
Because the Nigerians were independent.
No, they weren't independent at all.
Sorry, no, they weren't part of the local system, is what you're saying.
No, they weren't part of
Yeah.
So that's what happened when independence, that's the beginning period of independence, when Accra was then.
Yes.
And the colonial government saw that the people really wanted independence.
Yeah.
And so they started putting things in place. And that was the beginning of independence.
Yeah.
And that was nice. Particularly, I enjoyed the looting. We got some few belts.
Oh, get some belts, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We didn't have belts till the looting
Some
started.
candies of cow tongue.
Cow tongue, yes, indeed. Indeed.
And those were the leftovers from the real looting. We enjoyed it, but that was it.
So you were 14. You were involved in the youthful effervescence.
Exactly, the youthful part of it. And then independence really came in 1957.
Yeah.
And that was when Ghana started thinking of building a society without the colonialists.
Yes.
Therefore, that's where some of us benefited.
Yes. So let's go back, because again, this is something that you need to understand. So the looting and the rioting and the all that hubbub was about, we're a controlled society. We want to break out. It was a revolutionary thing.
That was
you need your independence.
Yes. The leaders were arrested, imprisoned.
Yes.
We call them the 6 leaders.
The 6
of
leaders.
The United Caucus Convention. Later on, they were released under certain terms.
Yes.
And they changed from something to what they call legislative council.
Legislative council.
Not parliament.
Yeah.
But then gradually it changed until we had independence. It was declared one day that today Ghana is free forever. We were there trapped.
You were the very first of all the British colonial countries that gained your independence.
Yes.
You were right at the forefront of that.
I think we were at the forefront.
Yeah. 57 was Ghana.
Yes.
And Nigeria is
Nigeria
until
followed.
60.
That's what countries followed. Yes, we were at the forefront. Ghana was at the forefront.
And you were 14 then, so you're now in your early 20s.
Yes.
When did you first move out? What happened to get you out? Because I think you first came to...
Yes. When after independence, Ghana wanted to develop, and the leaders wanted to bring factories and things, and then to bring things like that, factories. So they were going to build a textile factory at Tema. It's now the Tema Textile Factory. And they wanted young men who had some brush with art. I was then in my first year of teaching. I had finished teacher training and I come to teach. I applied. In those days it was nice. You don't have to see anybody. You don't have to have a name. Be somebody. You apply and if you're qualified, you get they call you for an interview.
Yeah.
If you go through the interview, that's it.
Yeah.
Today it's not so at all. You've got to have somebody there.
You have to know somebody.
Yeah, you got to know somebody. Or your name must ring a bell.
Yes.
So I applied. That was 1959.
Mm-hmm.
And I was called to an interview.
Mm-hmm.
And I was selected as one of the people to be trained to towards that factory.
Towards the textile factory.
Towards the textile factory. So I left it in November 1959. It's exactly 60 years ago. Come to me.
Exactly 60 years ago. 60 years ago. Right.
I entered this country in November 1959. And we kept us at the Queen's Garden at Bayswater.
Yes,
They had
Bayswater.
the Risk Council hostel. There was a hostel there. That's where we were kept.
Okay.
And I attended school every day. I came to Humon.
You came to Hope into the...
Humon.
Yeah. Did you, can I, because now we're talking about the British history and now we're talking about the British armed schools of that time. So you're talking about 59, 60, 61, that, so England about to go into the swinging 60s of London and so on and so forth.
Yeah, London was beautiful. People were kind.
Interesting
People were
time.
great. People were honestly great. People were very, very kind to students. I spent my first Christmas here with a family. I've got the frames or something.
Mm-hmm.
They came to collect me at the hostel.
Yes.
And they took me home, and outside London, I've forgotten all those things. Anyway, they collected me. That's when my first Christmas. We went to church on Christmas Day or something like that. And it was really beautiful. I thought this boy too kind, they were very, very kind. They wanted to make us happy or comfortable. Yeah. So yes, like every other Christmas, I got invitation to some family, to some place in some family. Mm-hmm. Even here in London, there was a family in the Bayswater area. They also adopted me like a child. They took me swimming weekends, and I remember one time, I could swim. At home I could swim. I mean, I come from the beach.
Yes, you have a beach culture, yeah.
And they took me to a swimming pool, and they asked me, "Can you swim?" I said, "Yes." So I bought a very nice swimming pant, and I was going to display. I was going to show off. And, I jumped into the water. It wasn't the sea. I knew. I was. I knew I was here. And I, Mr. and Mrs. Slaughter. Mrs. Slaughter. Mrs. Slaughter. Is he joking? Is he playing? Hey, jump into it. And then Mr. Slaughter jumped into the water to save me. Oh, I thank my God. I tell you, I was drowning. So that's how I got out. But that's that kind of atmosphere. I was particularly, I had good friends, good English friends. And therefore I enjoyed my stay. Yeah. But after all, I wanted to go home. You wanted to go home? And listen, I loved home. Plus the winter isn't kind to me. It's not kind. I'm particularly sensitive to cold. Yeah. Extremely sensitive. So every time I would love to be Britain or America or any place like that. But when it's near winter, you start thinking about So the 3 years were torturous 3 years of Central.
But you were actually studying textiles then, weren't you? So textile was the idea to go back
fabric
to
designing and printing.
Fabric designing and printing.
Fabric designing and printing. And that's what I did at Central. And immediately I finished that same year, November or October, I rushed home. Mm-hmm. I thought they were ready. They weren't. When I got to Ghana, they weren't ready. The factory, in fact, they hadn't started building.
They hadn't even started building the factory.
And then at the time, Ghana too was beginning to, the temperature, the political temperature wasn't good. And I started feeling the heat.
Okay.
No. I mean, when you are...
It sounds like an identity crisis.
Exactly. When you come from this kind of quiet, nice, people go to Hyde Park, I know the Hyde Park, people were talking all the things they want to talk about, and nobody would be listening to you, nobody would want to arrest you. When I reached the other side of it, of my world, and I realized it's not that freedom isn't that there. So I thought I wanted to come back. Okay. I will return to Britain. That is cold or no cold. So that's how it happened that I returned to Newcastle.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't like cold, what are you doing going to Newcastle?
That's the university I got.
Okay, there you go.
I was then, when I was in Ghana, I was writing the universities, my background, and this is what I want to do, and that's what I had done before. So yes.
Now, can I ask, was that when you met Nkrumah?
Yes,
was that
that's
for
what
this
I've known Nkrumah for a long time, but that's when I met him personally, like you.
Tell me a little bit, because I remember you telling me once about meeting Mrs. Du Bois. Yes.
Yes.
So this is the great American activist W.E. Du Bois.
W.E. Du Bois. The wife that then entered the country. They were helping Nkrumah.
They were helping Nkrumah. So they had moved to Ghana, in fact.
Yes, they had moved to
Ghana.
They moved to Ghana.
But the doctor had died.
No, at the time I met them, he was still alive.
He's still alive.
And I actually wanted, because I wanted to come to Ghana, and I knew I wasn't going to get another scholarship.
Yes. Yes.
I wanted to hold an exhibition paid me to get the money, to get out, to pay my way to everything.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Yes, that's what I planned to do. And I asked the boys, I was working at the Ministry of Information, that is the exhibitions division of the ministry. And I asked the boys there, what do you think in Ghana could bring a lot of people to start an exhibition? I wanted to sell some and make some money. Like at the time, money was number one. So the boys told me, oh, Mrs. Du Bois was the person. I mean, no other. She had that personality in society. People sort of savior or something.
She could get you into the right place.
Yeah. So I went, she was then the director of broadcasting. And I went to the place and asked to see her. And the boys were looking, people there were looking at me like crazy. You want to see Mrs. Du Bois? Yes, I want to see Mrs. Du Bois. So she was told, and she asked the boys to ask me to come in. So I went in and I told her my mission. I'm here to invite you to open my exhibition for me. She looked at me like, how daring, like, how dare you? And then she said, well, you paint? I said, yes, I paint. Where are your work? I said, well, at home. Can I come to see them before I agree to open the exhibition? I said, no, that was a difficult question for me because taking that kind of lady home isn't that claim a place home, you know. It's my home. Yeah. It's our home, African home. So I wasn't going to take that lady to my home. But I said, oh yes, I'll arrange for you to see the paintings. So we agreed a couple of days later. She said she would come home. And I gave her direction. And she came to La. She drove to the end of the street and we had to jump across the gutters,
all the mud and
all the thing, and I wasn't feeling comfortable. But we finally got. I got the things arranged in my uncle's sitting room. That is, and then the chief of Labade. He has a good hall, so I arranged my work there. And she came to saw them. And she said, oh wow. That's nice, that's nice. Oh, very good. How long has it taken you? We had a short chat. And then she said, yes, I will open it. I'll open your exhibition. So I was very grateful. She came and opened the exhibition. And she asked, what do you really want to do? And I said, I want to go back to Britain. To do what? You can get a job. She wanted to offer me a job then. I said, no, thank you. And I was working in the civil service, and I know the civil service. No.
It wouldn't get you
Thank
anywhere.
you.
Yes, thank you.
So we had a short chat, and then she said goodbye. She bought a painting. She bought one painting, yes.
Oh, wow.
It was the first painting I saw on that exhibition.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yes, and then a week or so later, she sent her driver to come and pick me at home. And the driver came to say, Mrs. Du Bois wants to see you. I said, yes. Oh, okay. To see Mrs. Du Bois was a pleasure. It was a great day. Hey, so I'm going to see Mrs. Du Bois. Then we got to Flagstaff. No, first we drove to Mrs. Du Bois' home. She was having tea in the morning. So when you have tea, I said, no, after eating kinky, and I was full. So but she finished, and we sat in her car, and she was driving. Now, in those days, that was the part that I didn't. It was like a 30, 40 minutes journey. Not too long, no. But I was thinking, how come I'll be taken to Nkrumah? In those days, the rumor in town is that Nkrumah kills people.
Okay.
Like if you are taken to him,
you take
will come back. People actually believed it, particularly in La.
Okay, La was it. Yeah.
People believed it. So when I got home, that's a story I was told. When Nkrumah is coming this way, you go this way. So I didn't like the idea. But the lady was such a respectable person that I can't believe it. It's impossible to believe, to think that she would take me to Nkrumah to be killed. anyway, so I prayed and hope that I will come out alive. And yes, they took me there. The gates opened, the Flagstaff House, they call it that.
Flagstaff House, yes.
Flagstaff House.
Yes.
The gates first to get opened, they drove, second gate opened, and the driver drove. The third gate we had to get down. So we got down, and we walked in the gate, they opened the door, and I knew bye-bye, or I was saying bye-bye, my spirits. But we got to the office, we met the secretary to the cabinet, Mr. Condon. As our mission, Mrs. Boyce was speaking, said, oh, we have an appointment with Salifo. Oh yes, sit down. We sat down. In a few minutes, so we were ushered into a room, a very nice, quiet room, beautiful room. And then just as we were entering, the figure came out from another door. And wow, today that's it. Today is today.
That's it.
But honestly, I was amazed. He was a very nice person, a human being, not a monster, I had told. He came in and he greeted Mrs. Boyce, and Mrs. Boyce introduced me. This is the young man I told you about. Now, they were speaking in terms that were frightening.
Yeah.
And then he said, oh, it's all been arranged. Then I knew I'm finished.
You're finished.
But then, okay, they had a short chat. He said, oh, which did you arrange with? On your way out, you pick a letter from Mr. Home, the secretary.
Secretary, yeah.
And you take that letter to the scholarship secretariat. They will tell you what to do. So then, so it looks like I'm going out again. So we got out. He said goodbye. He said good luck or something like that. And then we got a letter from Mr. Com. And Mrs. Boyd drove me to Scholarship Secretariat, Ministry of Education. And true enough, when they opened the letter, it was an order from the president himself to give me a second chance to return to Britain. And they asked if I had already made arrangements, got admission to Newcastle. So they
had arranged that.
No,
you still
I was arranged privately. I was arranging to get money to
yes,
go.
you were going to pay. Yeah.
So
yes.
When I told them, they were very happy.
Yes, okay.
I said, oh, you have everything arranged. If you got your passport, you got your,
yes.
no problem. So that is how the following week I was on my way back to Britain. So that's how I met Mrs. Boyce. And the family were friends. They adopted me like a child, sort of. Until I finished Newcastle and returned to Ghana to begin my university career.
Yeah, there you've been.
Teacher.
Can I stop whilst we're still in Newcastle?
Yes.
I think it's in Newcastle. So you'd already been painting. Obviously, Mrs. Du Bois has bought a painting.
Yes.
Now then.
I was from tech training. Even from teacher training, my teachers kept saying that, oh, you're good. And when they keep telling you that, it gets into your head, I must say. I got in my head, I said, there must be something there. So I did a 2-year teacher, what do you call it?
Teacher's training.
Art teacher certificate.
Yes. Yes.
So that's in our university. That's where I met Mary Kirby, who was teaching at Central.
She was at Central. That's
She
right.
was at Central.
Yes. And she was later. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how she got it.
But were you? Oh, okay. You weren't painting in oil, I'm guessing. You were painting.
Yes, mostly gouache.
Watercolors. Yes.
And,
and it was figurative work. It was a bit of.
Can't remember quite. No, it was figurative, blowing, praying, doing the sort of national the things you would do, traditional things. People would do the horn player, the mother, and the baby,
yes, there were
the people from the farm, that kind of thing,
Because this is something that interests me quite a lot, because the Ghanaian system and the British system were actually very closely linked.
Yes, they were.
Yes. And places like Goldsmiths were sending teachers out. You mentioned Mary Clark.
Yes.
Mary Clark from Central.
Mary Kelly.
Sorry, Mary Kelly from Central.
Yes.
Arrives in Ghana to teach.
Yes. Most of our teachers were either from England here or from Scotland.
Yeah.
We had quite a few Scots.
Because Ellen Nancy talks about the same thing. His examiner, his examiner for his final degree, comes out from Goldsmiths to mark the thing. So there's a big interchange between the two educational systems, as it were. And you have public schools, you have all these different things. But so the kind of work you're being taught. Again, Elle kind of reacts against that very British training of figurative studies and so on and so forth. But I remember seeing you showed me your thesis from Central here.
Yes.
And you had these wonderful little illustrations of kente weavers, people weaving kente cloths, and beautiful little pen portraits and things. Yes. Which, when you see the work of today, is a kind of, you don't think that's an Ablade Glover, but that's a
it came from a background.
It came from a background of
It came from a background.
So that takes me to Newcastle, when the kind of work that you'd already been doing, the kind of work that you sold to Mrs. Du Bois. In Newcastle, I think, is where you make the switch to.
No, Newcastle, I didn't make a switch.
Okay.
I wanted into more theory than practice. I didn't practice a lot. The university didn't give us studios.
They didn't give you students?
There were students. You were going to classrooms and be lectured to. And then
lectures on Western art?
Western on art in general.
Yeah. Okay.
Art history.
Art history. Okay.
So I didn't do much painting in Newcastle. After Newcastle, I got to teach at university, and then I went to teach, of course, textiles. So I left. I studied here, and I taught that for 7 years at the university until American scholarships came.
Yes. Sorry. So now we're back in Ghana.
Yes.
But then can I ask you, because I had understood that the move from the brush to the palette knife was something that might have happened in Newcastle.
Yes, it happened in Newcastle.
Okay, then I'm
that happened in Newcastle, and it happened unexpectedly.
Well, I want you to tell me that story.
It happened unexpectedly. When we were finished, I was finished in Newcastle. We were sent to schools, secondary schools, to teach.
To teach, okay.
Teaching practice.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I went to this school, and I met this art teacher there who was teaching an art class, and he saw how I was painting, and he said, the way you go, you could do better with the palette knife. And I said, the palette knife? Yes, we had one. He said, the palette knife is more like that, it has more freedom. So I picked the palette knife. And I found it like magic. It really registers your emotion immediately. You register it. The way you feel, you register it. And if you don't like it, you pick it off and you claim it with the palette knife. It's rather nice. I enjoyed that. And then it continued. And then I dropped the brush.
And you dropped the brush?
I dropped the brush. And it's been like that since.
Okay, it's been like that since. It's been like that ever since. Most people probably haven't seen a palette knife. Is it just an ordinary knife, or is it a special knife?
It's a special knife.
It's a special.
Either ribs or round it. They sell them.
Yeah.
Can I say a pliable knife sort of? It goes in.
Yeah, it's bendy. It's a different thing. But it's a different way of working with the material.
Yes.
And you don't use gouache with a palette knife, do you? No.
See, when I drop the palette knife, I drop the palette knife.
You drop the palette knife. You bring it.
I drop the brush. I was using the palette knife, and since then. That was what,
1967?
62.
62?
No, 62 I left here.
Yeah.
64? 64, 65, yes. 64, 65. I went back 65
Yeah.
in December.
Okay.
And I started teaching at Tech in 66.
Okay.
And those were the climax
Yeah.
of Ghana, things boiling
Yes.
to a head,
Yes.
where people wanted to kill Nkrumah.
Yes.
Nkrumah wanted to kill those people. So you, the little one, you were caught in it. The average citizen is caught in a situation where, when they say when they land two elephants fight,
Yeah.
it's a grass that suffers.
Yes, the grass suffers. That's
We
right.
were suffering.
That's right. That's right.
So yes.
That's right. Yeah.
So that is how I continued there until the coup.
At the coup. Yeah.
That was 1966.
Yeah.
Then
Then you wanted to get out.
It's like a fire, two things, boom, things came up.
Yeah.
That I continued there, continued at Tech, and then the American scholarships came.
Yes.
There again, they were trying to improve university teachers and their performance.
Yes.
So I'd like to continue with my art education.
Yes.
And like to. They selected the university, Kent State University.
State.
That was the year.
It was a few years after the
It
Kent
is
State
exactly the
University.
year when that university, that they killed,
That
there
they
was
killed
a lot
the
of
students
killing,
in the-
a lot of shooting in the
Do
university.
you remember that you've heard the Kent State University?
Kent State, yes.
When they sent in the National Guard, the
National
Kent State
Guard,
Guard.
yes. I entered that year, and therefore the university was very quiet. Everybody was frightened.
Yeah,
The university was very, very quiet.
Did you feel the reverberations of that black tension in that place? I mean what happened in Kent State wasn't just about race. It was more to do
Vietnam.
with it. Sorry?
It was Vietnam.
Yes, exactly.
It was about Vietnam.
Yeah. So, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't about that.
Yes.
But did you still feel there in Kent State that there was
There was tension.
There was a conflict.
There was tension. I mean, I mentioned that. The university was very quiet.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to see a university that quiet, but the shock was there, like everybody was shocked.
It was.
And there again, I met an African American teacher who, the family, they also adopted me.
Yeah.
And they like to make them feel at home, everybody want to. It's not always like that. It's okay to die out, everything will be fine. So yes, I say I came, and then I transferred after the masters. I had a quarrel. I was having difficulties with visa people, what do you call them, immigration people.
Yes. Immigration.
Yes. I was given a scholarship to come and do a masters.
Yes.
And if you finish your masters, you must return home.
Yes.
And I thought, no, at my age at the time,
Yeah.
it would be like, it would be a miracle to get an app to
Yeah.
come and do a PhD. I wanted very much to do a PhD.
Yeah, you didn't want to go out.
I didn't want to go camp. I've been too many times.
So you're what? You're in your 50s now. You're maybe 50.
No.
No. I'm losing count of the years.
I was still in my 40s.
40s.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
I said, I vanished in London, in the US a bit. Well, I had to.
Yes.
The immigration people were after me.
We're after you. I don't know. I didn't expect any of this to come out today, but the looting, the underground railway. Thank you for telling us. Go on, keep going.
Yes.
Keep going. So you go underground and come up as a.
underground and went to a bigger city where I would be lost.
Yes.
Like London, it's lost. You get
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
It's hard to get you. So I went to Ohio State in Columbus.
Ohio State.
Ohio State in Columbus. And I left my family in Kent.
Yes.
That's I started with my PhD. And then they were still after me. I think they discovered where I was. They wrote a letter, that is my employers wrote a letter that I should return. If I don't, they would cut off my salary. And I was dependent on my salary for other things at home.
Yes.
And, so I had a very, very nice man, my advisor, my work, Professor Effervescent was great. He was great. He called Accra and wanted to speak to my head of the university.
Yes.
He spoke well. I was sitting there. He spoke well with the university to head of my university, the vice chancellor. He told him that the boy is doing well. The man is doing well. He's almost finished. He has a year to. He has only his thesis to write. So if you allow him 1 year, he will finish and return. He promised you to. He's here with me. And then the man said no. He should come, return to Ghana, and when he can write his thesis in Ghana, when he finishes his thesis, we would pay back, what do you call it, the ticket back.
To get back to go for a Viva or whatever, yeah.
Exactly. And that finished the argument. Yeah, so I had to go, return to Ghana to work on my thesis. And they did, but the problem was that I had to register that semester to finish, to present my thesis.
Yes.
And I was late. When I got there, I realized this teacher, Professor Efland, had paid for me, had paid my fees for me. And it touched me because it touched me for a teacher.
Yeah.
And I must say, for a white teacher, not an African American teacher, I thought it was something. It really touched me.
Yeah.
I was grateful. I wanted to refund it. And no, that's all right. It's okay. So far, you finish it this year. Let's make it defended. They put a group together.
Yes. To examine
this thing. So that was how I finished at Ohio State. And of course, I promised them I would return and I wouldn't stay in America. It's still very cold there. So I returned to Ghana to continue my teaching at the university.
Wow. I mean, well, I find it fascinating. You're moving backwards and forwards. Any thoughts about the difference in just the English and the American? Just a general thought about different education systems. Did you feel that? Or I mean, these are all.
No, yes. The educational system, ours was closer to
the British.
The British,
Absolutely.
much closer.
Yeah.
You are taught.
Yes.
You are taught.
Yes.
And then you do very little.
Yeah. But
You are taught.
Yeah.
In America, it's like you must teach yourself.
Yeah, you're left to yourself.
Alone.
Yeah, and you have to defend yourself.
You must teach yourself. You must do things, and then particularly in the painting section, they visit you in your studio, wherever you are, once a while, and see how you're getting on. They give you A or B or C at the end of the semester. So their contact with teachers in America
it's very different. Yeah. No, I understand that, but again, because you have these British teachers going out to Ghana, it's a system that you understand. But it was, I mean, I'm not sure that the system survives even today in England. But yeah, I think it was a fine system. I want to talk about something now. Just talk about medium, because you're working in canvas, you're working in oils.
Yes.
I want to go back to something that El and Atsu. We'll talk about El later. El says at one stage that, first of all, he's revolting against that British educational control and things, and classes where you're supposed to do portraits and still life. You have this and that. Was it you that told me that you would do portraits, but that the model would be wearing a sheet? Was that you told me that, or was that
no? No. Well, I was introduced to when we went to live drawing class.
Live drawing class.
And it wasn't. I wasn't expecting it when you were faced with a nude model. Indeed, my first one was here.
It's here in St. Martin's.
At the Central.
Yeah.
Yes, when I was doing live drawing there, I was faced with a model, and when I hadn't been brought up as a Presbyterian, a nice young man, you don't look at people like that.
You should have done art.
So my first shock was here.
Okay.
My first shock was here. And it continued. But you get used to it.
You get used to it, you get used to it. You struggle, but you survive.
Yes. We had a teacher who was always joking about Mauro Toku. He studied in Britain here, and then he became a teacher for drawing, light drawing. And he was always joking, and his jokes were not too
kosher.
His jokes weren't too nice. And you know, you get embarrassed when you're a young person. I was a young person at the time, and I brought up a nice Presbyterian boy, raised in a boarding school, Presbyterian boarding school. Went to teacher training Presbyterian. You know, you don't look at things and joke about them. So, but somehow I think he was trying to get us into it. You know, he was busy. So it worked out. It worked nicely. It worked nicely. So my work, as you can see, I don't have them here. I don't have models.
Okay, no. But maybe it was Elle who was telling me that when they had life drawing classes, that the model would actually be wearing a sheet, and he was talking about the difficulty of actually drawing a figure when they're wearing a sheet.
Okay.
But you had to guess that it was. But it always struck me there's this fascinating intersection between a Western style of drawing and a local style. But we can leave it there. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's fine. No, but my thought. I want to come back to this. So Elle, to go back to something that Elle once said, is that he said that in terms of materials, that first of all he's revolting against that British style of teaching, that British way of drawing. He doesn't want to do that. So he goes down to it's Kumasi. He goes down to the art centre, and he's looking at all the African crafts. But he said that as he's developing, he's looking to use whatever he can find in the environment. That's what his art is going to be made of. So maybe he's making something that traces with mud, or he sees the women carving different things or weaving different things. That's his material world. And he sees the oil painting and that sort of thing as a Western thing that he doesn't want to get involved with. Now, as you travel, and so you come to England and there is oil paint and there are canvases, and you get to the States, same again, yeah? I think I remember something that Chile told me, that you wanted the gallery, after you've been to the gallery would send you oil paints.
Yes.
And the gallery would send you canvases. And so that you have a connection with a world that can furnish the material.
That can furnish me my material.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that you're not dependent upon those local materials. You have to find an old canvas and paint.
The gallery, even before the gallery, people were from Ghana who were visiting Britain.
Yes.
Brought me in mind.
The people would bring
I
bring
always
these.
made sure materials that I never needed to suffer.
So you were never short of materials.
I never short really.
Yeah.
Materials. I was always getting materials. The October Gallery from that point was where
you had a source.
Constantly.
You had a source. Yeah, I think we still use the same shop for oil paints. But it strikes me that already you're beginning to do something which is not commonly done in Africa, which is that you have a source of materials, a medium is a non-African medium.
Because
but you're not short of it, so you can use it.
Short of it. It was always there. I found this later, in my later days when I opened a gallery in Accra, and I was working with younger artists. So you could find the economizing.
Yes. It's
so disturbing because people economized to the point that they couldn't express themselves. They were afraid of a shortage of.
They didn't have enough red.
You could see it in the work.
Yeah, you could see it in the work.
You could see it in the work.
Ah, interesting.
And I'm glad I was in that kind of position.
Yeah. No, because just the sheer amount of
that
was on the canvases means you have to have plenty of.
Well, I had the tubes. They came in boxes.
Boxes
So
full of tubes.
I guess I'm squeezing.
Tell me about, because I always love it when you talk about squeezing tubes onto the canvas.
It's a nice feeling. You squeeze when you don't think of the money, you don't think of the cost, you don't think of anything, but what you're going to get, or what you're going to do is, so you just splash it.
Yeah.
It's really rewarding in a feeling.
I want to come back to this though, because it strikes me there's something fascinating about your work in that you use the archetypical Western medium of oil on canvas, but the things that you're painting have got absolutely nothing to do with the Western tradition of painting.
Yeah, maybe I was using an alien tool to express.
An alien tool to express.
So that's how I saw it.
Yeah.
I was introduced to an alien tool
to
express my background, my traditional setting.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a borrowed tool.
But it's a fascinating synthesis of that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I don't really think there are too many other African contemporary artists who have that background, that length of painting in this medium.
Not many.
Yeah. I mean, today you're beginning to see.
Today there is a lot of
mocking people.
This what you call it, acrylic.
Yes, acrylic makes
acrylic is cheap.
Yeah.
And they say dry faster.
Yeah.
And,
but you don't use acrylics, do you?
No, listen, I'm conservative.
Yeah, I know you. Give me a tube and a palette knife, yeah?
No, yes, I'm settled. They don't.
Why change?
Why change now?
Yeah.
You know, at 85, you don't play around with foolish.
It's burnt sienna. It's vermilion. It's wonderful. Well, it's really wonderful to have when I walked in the other day to see your works on the wall again.
Thank you.
And to smell it. You can smell the linseed oil. You can smell the. It's stunning to have it again. I still think your works are beginning to change. I mean.
Oh yes. Now every canvas leads me to the next. It open another door.
Yeah.
I finish a canvas, and I look at it and I know, I like it.
Yeah.
But there is a door.
There's a door to somewhere else.
There is another
question
room to explore. So I keep exploring all the time, in color, in texture, in essence. Yeah. Yes, I keep exploring all the time.
Yeah. And then the other thing which I think, I'm always trying to think about who in the Western canon paints like that. I try and look at it from the other perspective, and thinking you've developed a style which is absolutely uniquely your own. The palette knife, the use of the medium, the subject matter. There's nobody in the Western canon who really does it. There were artists that went out to Ghana and painted, but they didn't do this kind of work. But I'm always thinking the only person that I think that even comes close is someone like, I don't know if you know Jack B. Yeats, the brother of the poet. You look at some of Yeats, and it's very expressionistic. You see a mass of colours, and suddenly out of the colour you begin to see that there's a figure and a landscape.
There's something behind.
There's something. But you have to go searching for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I play the colour. I paint a canvas, and then I leave it on the easel and put it down. I come back to it maybe a couple of days later, and I feel it needs something. As if they speak, it needs something. No, it needs to be, the color needs to be toned down or to be bring it out.
Brought up again. Yeah.
And then you paint on it, and you begin to see the people behind that scene. It happens more than you are painting it. You're hoping you can see it. You're hoping that you get there. Sometimes, some of the time, you don't get there. I have a few canvases that I never finished.
You never finished?
No, I don't know why. Well, they don't speak to you anymore, so
you put them away?
You put them away.
Yeah.
They're sitting there, and the canvases, maybe the next day you enter the studio, and it's just a matter of, and it happens. So yes.
So you're following a kind of a chance, you're following a thread.
There's a lot of accident you allow. Yes, a lot of chance you take.
Okay, so do you think this is a person and you walk away and you see it, or do you put some things down and then you go to look at you try to find...
Well, I put something down, and I go back and look and it's
No.
not, it's wrong, it's all wrong. Oh, I do the provide and I say, yeah, and yes, it's right, and I put some more there. Yes, it encourages you to go on that way, to go that direction.
Yeah.
Or, hey, stop it.
Yeah, stop, don't touch it, don't touch it.
You are ruining it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So
Yeah.
you allow your senses to guide you and they comfort itself.
What I think is fascinating about that is that if you can imagine that an artist tries to paint something, so they paint something and they're working towards this idea of what they're going to paint. Let's say we're painting a landscape. You can see the landscape and you try to put it down. But with what you're talking about, and you put the landscape down. Let's say it's a Jack B. Yeats.
Yeah.
When the viewer comes to look at that, they have to find the thing that is in there. They have to look for it to find it. So they decipher.
Yes.
But there's a kind of as a viewer, there's a kind of a projection where you start to think, oh, there's the hill, and so this is there's his hat, and there's the leg, and oh. So you put it together, yeah?
Yes.
What's fascinating is that you're talking about your very process of production contains that decipherment of the things that have just happened. As though there's yes?
Yes.
Yeah?
You're taking the viewer onto the journey you're walking.
Yeah.
And he's got to go through it to begin to really to appreciate it, I think.
Yeah.
And that's what I imagine. And that's why somebody will stand for a long time and cannot quite. Even though you may like it, oh, I like that, but what is this? I'll tell you a story. Once I was driving from Kumasi to Accra. Somebody ordered a painting and done it, and it was on top of the car.
Mm-hmm.
We've tied down to the car and secured it. And myself and the driver, and we were going. And whilst I was sitting in front, I was holding the, making sure the car was there. And happened to travel for some distance. I realized the painting wasn't anymore there. So I asked the driver to stop. So he stopped, and true enough, the painting had paint is thrown out, it's gone. So I asked the driver, let's go back. So we went back. We reached a village, and the villagers have gathered.
The art society of the village were
Yes,
thinking.
the villagers have gathered, and they have put the painting the right way up, and they were not done this. They're looking at the painting from the bottom. I don't know what they were looking at it for, but you could see they had no idea. They had no idea of what they were looking at or what they were looking for. So we stopped. And I said, oh, hi, hello. I said, this is our painting dropped from the car. I said, yeah, they saw it. I said, oh, is it yours? Sorry. So we're looking at it, okay. So, so can we have it now? Yes, oh, okay, you can take it. I mean, they had no idea of what they did. So we gave them something, they were very happy having taken it for us and having kept it for us. So, but it fascinated me that all along, and up to today, what were they looking for down there? And they had no idea of what it meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't blame them.
No, but I think that's a lovely story, because many people walk through the gallery and they see this. Many people think it's abstract art.
Yeah.
And if you get up close to it, you can only see it as abstract, pointillist kind of style. You see it as just flashes of abstract colour. And I often take people and I pull them back a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and a time comes when it comes into focus. Yes, it clicks. And if you're too close, you can't see the crowd. You have to be a certain distance or a bit more. Yeah? Now, my big question then is, when you're painting it, do you have to, because you've got an arm that's this long, and that's not the distance.
No.
Do you go forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards?
That is the work part of it.
Well, it's no wonder you're so fit.
Oh. I tell you, I walk a lot.
Yeah.
That's the walk. put one there, come back, whether it's coming together, put those there, scrape that what is there, put something there, and it's every stroke means a walk back to work. So yes, it is extremely tiring.
It's extremely tiring.
Very tiring. At the end of the day, I'm sorry to say, but at the end of the day, I feel really exhausted and a bottle of beer, that's it. Yes, I must tell you that when the day is done, particularly when I'm satisfied, I feel, I call the children, they give me something from
Papa wants a beer, you know.
They bring a blind, they go down, they bring me a gold down. I pour a glass, they go that down, that's it all.
Good. Well, I'm not going to keep you. I've elicited all kinds of stories. I'm hoping, Harry, I'm hoping that we can later. We have a short film of Ablade just working, and because not everybody knows the palette knife at work, if we could have that. I just think. Well, and then we'll do questions. I thought we'd maybe do it. We were going to watch it at the beginning, but couldn't find the film. So hopefully now we can find that film. Just because I'm fascinated to watch the dance of the knife, because it gives you a sense of just how much work goes into any one of the, and why at the end of the day, a bloody needs a beer.
My full name is Ablade Glover. Having painted a picture, a painting, which I think is a presentation of this environment I live in, and somebody, a stranger, a complete stranger, comes and says, I like this, and he wants to take it away by paying for it, it means I must have touched that person with my soul. That is art. Art, the process of art is wide. Art is not a thing you stop and then stop and go. It is a commitment, life's commitment. When I started painting, I was at the university and I met this teacher there who was teaching in the school. And he looked at my work and he said, you will be better off with the palette knife. He thought the way I work, like spontaneous activity, he thought, no, you will be better off with the palette knife. So I picked the palette knife, and that was my, it's like they opened the door for me. That was my I like the spirit to express itself, and that's it, that's all there is to it. The palette knife does that for me, and it's a great tool. When I work on the canvas carries me to the next canvas. And from there on, it is sketching. I'm looking at as a good sketch, composition wise, and so on. And then we go on to painting. There are things that fascinate me within our culture. I love the market. You can never finish painting the market. The market itself is changing from morning market, noon market, evening market, quiet market, rough markets. Oh, it's all there. So there, market has become my signature. So I'm working my way forward. I will not plan to stop. How can I stop painting? No. I love what I do. And it makes me go on. I keep going. Possibly that's what keeps me alive. By the time my maker calls me, I would have made that strong man. But above all, I think I love what I'm doing.
But the gallery as it was originally set up was for artists to be part of the gallery place, to come and live here, to spend time with us, to work with us. We still have in the kitchen, we still have a famous Ghanaian chicken recipe that was one that whilst Ablade was here, when he would cook, he produced his peanut chicken recipe. We still make it 40 years later. You know? What are you doing tonight? Ablade soup, you know? So your imprint remains here, of course, on the walls. But I always thought that that the Artists Alliance was a little satellite of soul.
It's a very good copy. Except that we built our own building.
Well, we didn't build this. We found this old building. But it needed a bit of reconstruction.
Yes, but we had the opportunity to have an architect design us a place. All we told him was we needed a light. You need a light. You need a light. Yes. You need a wall space.
Yes.
Light. That's what we told the artist, the architect. And he did a wonderful job.
John,
what do you have to say about the relationship between the painting and the subject matter of the painting can apply to poetry as well? Words can come together in one's head that sound as if they ought to be together, and gradually something evolves and you reach a point where, oh, this poem is about so-and-so, and it becomes less abstract rather than more abstract as you proceed.
Yes. Things as you perceive when you look at it more, they speak to you. I believe so. They speak to you. My work speaks to me. Some speak more, and therefore you get attached to the work. You don't even want to sell it. I've had a problem with people who come into the office. My own office, even other people's work that I've purchased, they see the work and say, I want that. And you know you're in trouble. Because sometimes they offer you something you don't expect. But this money, and as soon as money gets in your hands, it melts. It goes away. And your work is gone. It's not right, quite right. But it happens, yes.
I'm going to take two more questions.
I've heard you say in an interview that it was important for you to have Ghanaian collectors, like basically.
Very, very, very important. Very, very important. I think so, yes. This is why I think the nation should have a gallery. It is very important because then a lot of the work will stay in Ghana. It's sad that today 80% maybe of what we produce, if all the artists working, 80% go out. And 80% of the good work, the very good work. These travelers, like tourists, then the diplomatic people, then the oil companies,
Guinness people.
Yes,
they got a lot of Glovers.
And the banks. They buy invariably, most of the time. The last time I saw one which saddened me, years ago, Mobil Oil. She instituted a competition, annual competition. And the promise to the nation was that this is going to be a collection for the nucleus of a Ghanaian national gallery. That was the promise to the nation. So they collected, there was a competition, a big competition, annually. And it is exciting for us every year to work towards that exhibition. And people did great works. And then Mobil sold, as I said, they sold Mobil in Ghana. It went to Total Oil. And there's no single work there now. Yeah. Whether they took the work out before they sold the building and the business, I don't know. Or whether it's the total people who took them, I don't know. I wouldn't know who took them. But the point is that today there isn't a single work there. And yes,
It's probably in Texas.
this is the work that people actually put their soul, few Ghanaians who buy. And if I see anything, I think, this shouldn't go. I buy sometimes, even though I have not the money. I have one today hanging in my office that I haven't paid for. But I talked to the artist and he said, oh, Prof, that's what you don't worry, anytime you pay for. So yes, I pray that Ghanaians should learn to collect. And then I pray that the nation should build an art gallery, a national art gallery. That is, I hope someday I'll see it. That's one of the collectors.
Yeah, Prof.
That's one of the collectors. Mr. Shokumbe. Yes.
I'm just interested to know when you started out,
Yes.
which artists, African artists, Western artists, which artists would you say inspired you to?
Which grabbed me.
Sorry.
Which
which
artist inspired you?
I think in my school days, I trained as an artist. I was Van Gogh was one. Van Gogh was one. Yes.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any particular African artists? I mean, they all.
Oh yes, Saka Akwe in Ghana.
Okay.
Saka Akwe was good, very good. Kofi and Tupan. Later, Dr. Buckner. Dr. Buckner was a scientist, aquatic biology. He was working with the Ghana Council for Scientific and Industrial Research people. And he I don't know when he picked painting, but he left some great body of work. Dr. Buckner did a lot of work, and he did a good work, and I like his work. The Catholics, the Catholic Church, collected most of his work. They gave him a lot of commission to do, and he did a lot of good body of work before he died. Yes, I like his work. So yes, there are some few Ghanaians that I saw. I like Sakakwe's, either the women or the men. If you're a man, he makes you a man. If you're a woman, he makes you nice. You know, Sakakwe was like that. Vincent Kofi, people like that, yes. And they were the beginners who inspired us. I think I was inspired by these people.
Did you ever show any of the early Ellen Etsui stuff, or was he was in Nigeria? He'd gone.
He was in Nigeria.
He'd gone, kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm not sure. You know, I never got to teach him.
Well, I thought he was supposed to go to your courses. He just used to cut your classes.
Cut my class?
Yeah, he didn't go to your class.
No. When I entered the university to teach, my first year, he was there. He was there already.
But he was sculpture, wasn't he?
Yes.
I used to tease him about that. Did you ever go to Prof's classes? No. I've got one last question from Makeda.
What do you see as the future for African art? What encourages you, or what do you find discouraging?
What I find
discouraging.
Discouraging.
What encourages
about
what?
The future for African art.
Oh, the African art, I think, now that it's hitting the world stage, will keep growing. And the younger ones are more talented and they take the challenge more than we. We were trained to be soft and nice and obedient and all that. They are more, hey, you know. That's what I find out with the artists I'm working with now. I admire their courage. They do things I wouldn't do. And I think that's what possibly made Amateur what it is now. And I think that is going forward, that's going to grow. I like that. I find it vibrant and it will grow. Otherwise I wouldn't build a gallery. I wouldn't put all my money I have in the bank to build a gallery. I believe in the subject. I believe African art, and particularly Ghanaian art, I know as it is now. It will grow. Yes, it will grow.
Well, I'm just so happy to have had you here, have you talk about these things.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, living national treasure, Ablade Glover. Thank you.